The recent confirmation of an attempted coup to topple President Bola Tinubu government by some officers months after denial has put the military hierarchy and fragile security in the country on the spotlight. While the military authorities say a report has been submitted to the executive on the findings and a tribunal set up to try those culpable, a human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, is demanding public apology for an earlier denial of the incidents. He will be engaging with a security and defense scholar, Dr. Steve Okwori, to analyze the implications of the findings on national security, cohesion, and professionalism. Also, the strike by workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has continued to cripple public service despite a court order for a halt. Minister of the FCT, Wike, is threatening illegal action against defiant workers, holding the administration to a grind. Wike, who was reportedly chased by the striking workers on Monday, is alleging his political opponents are cashing in on the industrial dispute to achieve certain objectives. A public affairs analyst who served also as the National Vice President of Electricity Workers in Nigeria, Comrade Musa Aiga, will join us later to analyze the implications of the industrial action on service delivery and the demand for an improved working condition. But first, let's bring you up to speed on the latest developments in the polity.
President Bola Tinubu stumbled and fell on Tuesday during a welcome ceremony in Ankara, Turkey. The incident happened as he worked alongside Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He was quickly assisted by officials and regained his balance. Tinubu had arrived at the Turkish presidential palace in a black limousine. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana, SAN, has criticized the Nigerian military for failing to apologize after first denying, then confirming an alleged coup plot. Speaking on Sunrise Daily, he said authorities owe Nigerians honesty and accountability. On Monday, the military announced plans to try some officers before a military panel, months after the arrest of 16 officers for alleged indiscipline and breach of service regulations. Ahead of the 2027 general elections, the National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, Bolaji Abdullahi, says Nigerians are ready to vote, but opposition leaders are not. Speaking in Abuja at the public presentation of his memoir, The Loyalist, he warned that disunity could weaken opposition chances and urged leaders to close ranks. Since July, the ADC, under National Chairman David Mark and National Secretary Raopa Arabishola, has been working to strengthen party structures nationwide and rebuild public trusts. Official activities in the Federal Capital Territory remain grounded as the strike by the Joint Union Action Committee entered its second week. The union is protesting the non-payment of 5 months' wage awards and 14 other demands. Affected agencies include the Abuja Geographic Information Systems, Abuja Environmental Protection Board, and the FCT Water Board, among others.
That was Shafiu Suleiman with an update on pressing issues in the polity. And of course, Dr. Steve Okwori, defense and security analyst and specialist, is here with us in the studio. Once again, welcome to our studios.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, maybe a moment. Let's travel to Turkey. When you look at the social media, many people are saying Tinubu is tired because of the sleep. Of course, we heard that he had an interaction with Erdogan and all that. Yeah. But then what, has taken the attention of millions of Nigerians is he tumbled in a way.
He stumbled, yeah. Yeah, I think first of all we need to look at the reason why the president of Turkey invited him to come over. I think that should be paramount to us.
It should be very important.
Yes, and part of the reason why he was or he's on that trip is because issues bordering on defense security is also part of it's going to be part of their conversation, right? And for me, that is very important because if you know the essence why we need to have security in place, you know that it comes with a lot of benefits and all that. If there's no security in place, of course, there won't be any meaningful development. We won't You have a foreign direct investment, you know, and all that. Foreigners won't come into the country to invest. So insecurity puts off a lot of things. And his stumbling was, if you look at the video very well, I think he stepped on something also.
Yeah, the tripod. This is what his hand is.
So for me, he's a human being. He missed his step and he fell and all that. And of course, it was lifted without any injury. We have seen presidents fall like that. I've seen Joe Biden when he was president. After giving his speech, he was returning back to his seat also. The rug also slipped and he fell flat on the ground. So these are things that shouldn't make any headline, but I see it on the social media and all that.
Probably Nigerians, and if you recall, even in the US,
yes.
Ultimately Biden had to give way when people kept making reference to his deteriorating health. There is the likelihood that if it were you or my humble self, you know, in that position where what happened today in Istanbul happened, there is the likelihood that I might not fail.
Of course, there's a likelihood that you might not fall. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You see, you know, Africa, the continent leaders, they are so, they want to cling to power, you know, cling to power for as long as they have the capacity. The only president that we have seen in the African continent that refused, even when his people asked him that he should continue, was Nelson Mandela. You know, he said no, he was going to step down and all that. And he had to vacate the seat for his vice president then, Thabo Mbeki, to take over. And that singular decision that he took has kept his head so high, up to date. People, Nigerians, even the African continent make reference when they are talking about some kind of political leaders that we have within the African continent.
Okay, so finally on this, what greatest gift do you think Tinubu should come back with from Turkey?
Yeah, a lot has taken him there. Just the way I mentioned initially, defense and security issues, talked about economy, and a whole lot.
But how strong is Turkey in terms of military might?
Yes, I think they are strong. If you look at one of the recent acquisition of a 76-meter high endurance offshore patrol vessel that was acquired, it was acquired from Turkey, right? And of course, you know, when we're talking about our marine domain, of course, you know, we have a lot of issues when it has to do with crude oil. They steal crude oil and all that. A lot happens within the maritime space, and the offshore patrol vessel has the capacity to cover about 84,000 square nautical miles, right, when it has to do with vigilance and surveillance and all that. And that acquisition was done courtesy of the Minister of State for Defense, the same Dr. Bello Matawali, and all that. So Turkey, if you want to talk about defense and security, I think they are grounded, and that vessel, it's really helping the Nigerian Navy in carrying out their operations.
I wish we have more time to discuss this because it's of national importance. But then finally, because yes, Nigerians are looking up to that. Can we say, of course, I remember that Erdogan was here around 2021 or thereabouts.
Yeah, during Buhari's time. Yeah.
Exactly. And then even Buhari was there, right? Now, do you think Tinubu is actually trying to expand the partnership and then also not to continue putting our, egg in one basket, going by some of the encumbrances Nigeria has been facing while looking for arms, especially from the United States, and its allies? Yes.
You see, a lot has changed between when the Turkey president was here and even when late President Muhammadu Buhari went there. So I think that we need to see how to change the narratives the way it was before, our security operations and all that. We need a lot with regards to technology and all that. So times change, what is a global village and all that. So when they are improving in their technological equipments and gadgets, if we see there's need for us to see how to continue the conversation and perhaps expand it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that's the focus of Mr. President.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Steve. Now, back to the big elephant. We hosted you here weeks back or a few months ago when the, back and forth about alleged coup.
Yeah.
Now here we are. That time the military said there was nothing like that and all that. And I want to recall that some of you supported that claim.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
If you can play back the clip, I won't mind.
Okay.
The very day the service chiefs were dropped, I was here and we talked about it for like an hour or so. And I told you that there was a coup. There was a planned coup.
Okay.
Right.
And that was why I said some of you, because we brought a number of
I don't belong to, I didn't belong to the class of people that said there was no coup at all. I said it here that there was a planned coup. Based, I'm a researcher. I'm a doctor of philosophy. I don't just sit and just assume. I do my own personal findings. Don't forget that I'm also a fellow of the Nigerian Army Resource Center, right? So there are certain.
So from insider information, you heard about it. Why? What informed the military to lie to Nigerians?
Now you see, I want to believe that the military did what is expected of them.
To tell lies?
No, it wasn't a lie.
What is it?
No, you see, first of all, when certain information or when certain things happen like that, what you expect to do, based on the knowledge that I know, is that you first of all make arrest. You're right. When you make arrest, you then carry out investigation before you now bring out your report. I think the first thing that they did was that they made arrest and they carried out investigation. And I think we must commend the military for coming out to tell Nigerians that this is what actually happened. You don't expect...
They didn't actually come out at their own volition. We forced them.
No, hold on.
I know, I have to be frank, because Nigerians are really, really agitated, Doctor. Why should those vested with the responsibility of holding the country in trust actually taking the citizens for a ride?
No, hold on. When this information first came to the public space, or when the arrest was made, you don't expect the military to come out to tell you that it was a coup, planned coup that failed and all that. If they came out to say it was a planned coup, and at the end of the day it wasn't a coup, what will you take them for? So I think that the proper thing was done, or has been done, detailed investigation and all that. And they have come out to say it was a planned coup, right? But don't forget that we don't have coup. When you talk about coup, it's not contained anywhere in our law, in our constitution. In the constitution, there's nothing like a coup. In the Armed Forces Act, there's nothing like coup. What you find in the Armed Forces Act is mutiny.
Okay, let's go with that word, mutiny.
Okay.
Why do you think they hid it for Nigerians? And instead, because we have this statement, they said these people, after pressure, they said these 16 officers and their collaborators and all that, they were grumbling, they failed exams and all that. Yeah. Is that good? For the image of the military? And is it good for the image of Nigeria as a country? No.
In as much as we expect the military to be transparent and accountable, right? I think that some certain information at that particular point in time was supposed to be covert, right? Carry out detailed investigation. If they didn't want to tell us that it was a coup, for instance, they would have still told us that it wasn't a coup.
No, I think we forced them, because even the last statement they issued yesterday, let me be, this thing yesterday, the day before yesterday, we led the newspaper, Daily Trust, with stories, using, credible sources to now say, well, you have read the story.
I've read it.
Yes, that the report of the findings was on the table of President Tinubu. And then yesterday they now confirmed to Nigerians. And that informed some major dailies, TV and radio stations to actually carry out a follow-up to what we did here at the Daily Trust, to say that yes, it's true, they have confirmed that those people were planning. They didn't stage the coup. And we didn't say it, but they were planning to topple the government of the... So, will I be wrong if I assume that without our efforts, that is it? No. Maybe till eternity, the military will not be transparent, and then to come out and say, this is actually what happened.
Let me commend the Daily Trust, right? Because when it has to do with investigative journalism, I give kudos to Daily Trust, because
Thank you.
I patronize Daily Trust a lot. There's no day that I don't buy Daily Trust and all that. But the fact is, here we are. The information out there now is that they were planning a coup, right? That they're going to face a military panel and all that. Let me refer you to IBB's book, My Journey in Service, that he recently published, where he talked about a senior officer met or saw junior officers reading a book titled How to Stage a Coup. And the senior officer now directed the junior officers to a particular page. And the heading in that page is the consequences of failure. You know,
the consequences of failure.
Of failure. Contained also in that book on how to stage a coup, right?
Someone authored the book?
Yes, somebody authored the book, you know. And the fact is, when we saw military coups happening within the African continent, that came very close to us, Benin Republic, right? There was a particular program I attended, and I said, President Tinubu needs to be very careful, right? Because the way coups are happening and it's coming very close to us and all that, we must have some disgruntled officers and men within our military that are not happy with what is going on in their own way. They think that things are not going on right and all that. But, and that was what led to that planned coup and led to the exit of the current chief of Minister of Defense that we have. Whether we like it or not, that planned coup was what led to his...
But who exonerated him, and then here he is now? The same person under whose nose something was planned, then a month after returned as... senior minister.
Yes, you see, I want to believe that he doesn't have knowledge about the planned coup. He became a victim of circumstance because he was the chief of defense.
Shouldn't that be an indictment? You are heading an institution, something happened under the roof of the room you sleep.
He paid the price, and that was why he was relieved.
But he got a bigger, reward now.
But it's within the
political appointment as minister.
It's the president's prerogative to appoint whoever he wants to appoint. We have people
some people pointed at many other offices within the polity as having a nocturnal knowledge, not really the heads of those places. Can you shed more light on that? I don't know. That beyond the core military, even from the civilian circle, of course, we know that former Bayelsa State Governor...
he was named, right?
He was named.
Yeah.
And then some even said that there are some officers working in the office of the National Security Advisor.
Yes,
Could that be true also?
Yeah, yes. Some of the officers that are involved in this planned coup, according to the information out there, they worked under the office of the National Security Advisor. Don't forget that the National Security Advisor also have officers, armed forces, also working. You go there, you see the Navy, you see the Air Force, and you see the Army there, you know. So it was, the information out there was that some of them were working under the office of the National Security Advisor, you know. And you don't completely expect that when a coup is being planned, you don't expect the involvement of civilians. Some of them serve as sponsors. The Gideon Oka coup, Great Oburu the Delta man, Great Oburu was one of the financiers of the coup.
So civilian?
Yes, civilian. So you see them, they get involved, they want to see how to sponsor it. They serve as financiers, and that was why they mentioned TB Receiver's name and all that. But up to now, I haven't had any information whether he's back from his medicals that he said when he gets
We will remain on that because it's our work. And that's why I said it's plausible to say if the media has not stayed on the story, that is it.
Yeah, I agree with
you. Because they call us out. Now, do we deserve apologies just the way, Falana
Yeah. I think that Nigerians deserve an apology from the military, right? Whether rightly or wrongly, they must apologize to Nigerians that the information they first churn out with regards to the 16 officers that were arrested didn't have anything to do with failure of exams or promotional exams or something. But this is the true picture. You know, for me, the very day they released this press statement from the defense headquarters, I think the first line of that statement would have been an apology, right?
Okay, the one they released yesterday.
Yeah,
apology to Nigerians.
Nigerians said, okay, yeah, initially we said this was it and all that, but the reason why we said X, Y, Z was because we really needed to see how to maintain some kind of douse the tempo and all that to see that we get to the right information as a result of their investigation. And now they are out and they have come to tell Nigerians that this is the true picture of it.
And I want to believe they also deceived the presidency, because when we reached out at that time, the presidency were aligned with what the military said.
Yeah, of course. What do you expect the presidency to say? Whatever the presidency says is what the armed forces feeds the president or the presidency. It's what they feed them.
Don't you think someone should pay a price for this?
Who now pays the price?
I don't know.
Yes, because the person that said whatever he said at that particular point in time didn't have any other information apart from what he was asked to say. So such a person should come and pay a price for being directed to say what he said.
Beyond the bandwagon theory which you advance here, that, some of you who are scholars in terms of defense and intelligence have been saying what is happening around the West African countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, even Benin, there was attempt, should serve as warning, right?
Yeah.
Beyond the bandwagon effect, I have seen it happening, or it has happened somewhere. Are there other factors that you think made the military in Nigeria, or some of those now indicted, to develop cold feet about our democracy?
You see, when it has to do with Burkina Faso, Mali, I know for sure that one of the reasons, and the major reason they gave why they had to topple the democracy then, was as a result of the insecurity issues in Mali and Burkina Faso, particularly on terrorism, right? Niger, of course, you know what happened there and all that. But the fact is, I don't see regime type as a means of addressing these issues, especially when it has to do with insecurity. Whether it's military or democracy, it doesn't matter. The fact that we have military rule in Mali and Burkina Faso, when you look at the 2025 terrorism index, Burkina Faso is ranked number 1. Mali is ranked number...
So they are worse off?
They are worse off. Mali is ranked number 4. Niger is 5. Nigeria is 6th. So the regime type doesn't really matter. It is the will, you're right. Of course, you know the root causes of all this. There are key triggers when it has to do with insecurity. We're talking about poverty, the rate of poverty, the rate of unemployment. We're talking about corruption.
Okay.
Right. These are indices that don't make countries work. Right. Now, since 2022, 2021, 2022, 2024, they've had military regime in these countries and all that. Well, nothing has changed. Rather, the terrorists are killing military officers in these countries, just the way it's happening in Nigeria.
Despite having military men at the helm of affairs.
Exactly. So it's not about the regime type, right? So when this set of people were planning on how to topple the government, is it about bringing solution to the issue that is confronting Nigeria?
Maybe they will do their own different way, because you put the some of the factors.
Yes.
Poverty, insecurity, and all that. Yeah. Is Nigeria not worse off compared to where we were, let's say, 2023?
No. When you want to begin to look at it comparatively, Nigeria is not worse off in some areas.
Security, let's take that, because that is what, and we'll just take 2 because we have like 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, security and corruption.
Yes. When we talk about corruption, of course, you know what is out there. people in government. Look at Malami, look at a lot of them that were saddled with responsibility.
Allegedly.
Yes, but
they are in court.
They are in court, I agree. But there were other ministers that also served with him. So why are they not being dragged to the court and all that, just the way he's been dragged to court? Right. That is, by the way, corruption is the bane.
And it's deeply entrenched here.
It's endemic. It is endemic. We need to see how to fight corruption.
Maybe you have some figures on the insecurity. Can we say more people are being killed now compared to 5 years ago? Maybe during the first year of the second tenure of Buhari.
Yes. You see, when you begin to look at it, I say comparatively, terrorism. Terrorism wasn't the way it was then, the way it is now. Of course, you agree with me that the military have intensified their kinetic operations, right? Especially looking at the theaters in the northeast and northwest. They are doing quite a lot, killing these terrorists. They have even gone to their camps and all that. They are taking this fight to them under this current administration, right? And we must have to commend them and all that in doing that, because you see that they have recorded some successes across some multiple fronts.
Then why are the military disgruntled?
No. You see, when it has to do with their welfare, this government has tried its best to see that they...
If they have tried, why they attempt to topple them?
No. You can't. You see, when you have a system or an institution, you don't expect members of that society or the institution to be 100% in agreement with the doings of the particular institution. You must have some that will be aggrieved for whatever reason, right? Some persons, they feel that the chief of Nava or the chief of Western doesn't want to see his face and all that, and he will now want to pass that anger or the annoyance to the president and all that, and then still let us have to put ourselves together. You don't expect them to be 100% loyal to the system, right? That's the way I said. Some might feel aggrieved, and I think this set of people are the ones that are aggrieved. But it doesn't mean that their salaries are not paid as when due. They are not being motivated. Even the current chief of army staff talked about their welfare.
This incident looks as the most, can I say, vocal voice in terms of, Nigerians getting to know what is happening since the commencement of the Fourth Republic, 1999. Of course, when I checked, I realized that around 2006 or thereabout, there was a nocturnal story that some military wanted to touch Obasanjo, and then towards the end of Jonathan's administration here and there, but wasn't as, what we have witnessed in this recently, meaning that some of our young people in the university now that are 20, 21, 22, they don't know anything called coup.
Yes.
What do you think will happen to this set of people now that the military has confirmed that, yes, they wanted to do something funny?
You see, when you attempt a coup, I think that the best bet for you is to see how to succeed. When you attempt planning a coup, plan to succeed, don't plan to fail.
When you fail now, what will happen to?
It's the law. It's contained in our law. If you are found guilty of the allegation and others, and you face court-martial, it's death.
Do you think the court-martial will sentence this set to death?
If it's established that they were actually planning coup, they don't have any option than to sentence them to death. But they have right of appeal.
In civil court?
Yes,
or
yes. The conventional court. They can appeal the outcome from the court-martial, because the court-martial has equal jurisdiction with our High Court or Federal High Court.
Okay, finally, I'm tempted to ask this last question. What lesson should our, civil authorities learn from this?
Well, the lesson is that our civil authorities should continue to believe and hope in our military, right? Whatever they come out with to tell Nigerians, we should try and see how to sieve, as well as just the way a lot of Nigerians didn't believe their initial story, right? Let us sieve and hope that they will keep giving us the right information as it concerns the country.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Steve Okwori, defense scholar and intelligence expert, for coming to the program and shedding light on this serious problem. We have to see you some other time.
Thank you.